So this is the tiny fishing village of A, which also must have one of the shortest names in the world because it is just an A.
Call it off, let it go.
So this morning we took a ferry from Varroy to Moskenes, and we are now here in A, which is a tiny little village on the very southern end of the Lofoten Islands. And we read about the fact that the bakery in A is quite famous for its cinnamon buns. So Roger's got 2 cinnamon buns, which he's going to try later on. And this is just the beautiful red stilt houses over the water. Absolutely gorgeous. So this above me is stockfish, and apparently when the cod is at its greatest numbers, which is during the winter here, they then fish it all, as much as they can, and they then dry it between February and about the end of May. They then sort it and package it off to be sold, mostly in Croatia, Nigeria, in the USA, and they don't leave the heads on because the heads are sold separately. And they sort it according to quality. So some of it goes into making dog food and cat food, some of it is sold for human consumption and various other bits and pieces. And it is big business here in the Lofoten Islands.
So we looked on the internet and there was a bakery that was highly recommended in A. So we went into A, first thing we did, found the bakery obviously, and we have 2 cinnamon buns. Now I have to confess, these aren't cheap at all. That's about £5, but they were highly recommended, so we had to do it. So let's give it a go. Very nice. Very nice. I'm not sure it's necessarily the nicest cinnamon bun I've ever had, but yeah, it's very good.
Was it worth £5?
Was it worth £5? Probably not, no.
Fair enough.
But prices are expensive in Norway anyway, so everything's expensive.
So here we are in the Lofoten Islands, and the last thing you'd expect to find would be a beach that looks like this, with incredible white sand, beautiful turquoise seas, sunny weather. It is a little windy, admittedly, but it is beautiful sunshine, and this is certainly not what I expected to find in the Lofotens. Amazing. So we are currently at Nussfjord, and in the guidebook it said this is a picture-perfect postcard village of the Lofoten Islands. And I don't think you can really disagree with that. You've got lovely red houses on stilts out over the fjord with towering cliffs behind. Quite incredible. We're currently in the Lofoten Viking Museum, and behind me is a recreated chieftain's house, which is absolutely huge. And it wasn't just the chief who lived in there, a lot of people did, and it was where most people came most days to socialise, to eat and to celebrate things. And we've sort of Basically, they started here in about 1980 when a farmer was ploughing, and he ploughed up some bits of fireside remnants, and they knew that this was burial mounds for Vikings around here. And after they discovered those bits in 1980, they then began to have an archaeological dig, and they discovered this massive chieftain's house, which is now recreated here, and a Viking ship and various other bits and pieces. It's very, very interesting. So I am on a replica Viking longship. This one is about 20 metres long. We were just reading about the fact that the wealthier chiefs would have had one that were 30 or 40 metres long, and sometimes even longer, and the bigger ones would have been the ones that would have sailed to invade the UK and also sailed to Iceland and places like that. I have to say though, having been on the ferries for the last couple of days, I do not fancy going anywhere on a boat like this, because even moored in the tiny little harbour here, it still feels a bit bumpy.
I said to Jill that I quite fancy a Viking burial, and I have to say, having come here, I really do want one. It sounds an ideal way to be sent off, but apparently she says it's not very green nowadays to be set alight on board a ship and go into the middle of wherever, the English Channel if we're doing it from home, and sink. Apparently the fish don't like that kind of thing. That was a good start. And take two. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Sorry. One in the kisser. Okay.
Yep. So this morning we left Love camping at Stockmarknees, and we've been driving for about an hour and a half to, a couple of hours, something like that. And we're now on the island of Andoya. And this island is very different to any of the others. It's a lot more stark, a lot less populated, and there's a lot less people around, which is great. And we just stopped at this lighthouse here. Amazing toilets here as well. And this is quite stunning. This used to be a Sami place where they used to offer offerings to the gods, that kind of thing. And yeah, unfortunately, with the altar that they had made, I think had to be demolished when they built the road. But yeah, it's quite an amazing place. Mountains over that way, mountains behind me, and the Andoya spaceport that you can see as well, I think.
A few days ago, I actually got up at 3 o'clock in the morning, set the alarm, and went outside, and it was cloudy.
And he was trying to show the midnight sun.
Couldn't see a thing. So we thought we'd try it again. Then we thought, actually, midnight sun should be at midnight, not 3 o'clock in the morning. And the time now is
12:03.
12:03. We've actually stayed up this long, which is quite impressive.
That is quite impressive for us, yeah.
But hopefully you can see behind the midnight sun.
The beautiful midnight sun. This is Norway, the land of the midnight sun. We thought we'd better show it to you at some point.
And it's a lovely evening, actually, isn't it?
It is. It's quite chilly, but it is beautiful. It's been stunning all day today, hasn't it?
It has, yes. Blue skies and everything. It's been really nice.
It has indeed been stunning. Lovely. So we've spent a week roughly a week in the Lofoten Islands, and we just wanted to feedback on what we thought about them.
Yep, indeed.
So we first of all went to Varroy, which is a little island, not on the main Lofoten Islands, and it's known for being quite wild, quite a lot of birds, and good walking. And we enjoyed it there, actually.
Yeah, we
didn't we?
did.
It was very
we had,
nice
we had
there.
a lovely walk there.
We did.
Very, very steep, up to a NATO
Radar.
But yeah, that was very nice actually, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
Part of the reason we did that was because it was actually free on the ferry. So we went on the ferry from Bodo to Varroy, and if you do it that way around, it's free. If you go to Bodo to the main Lofoten Islands, it's about, for a camper van our size, about £75. So we thought, well, we might as well do it that way around, and we managed to get to the Lofotens for free.
Even though, bizarrely enough, our ferry went to the main Lofoten Island first and
Yeah.
then came back to Varroy,
Yeah.
but it was still free for us. So there you go.
Yeah. But okay, well, that was free, so that
Yeah,
was good.
absolutely.
It wasn't too crowded there. We had a very nice park up there.
We did. We did.
But when we got to the main Lofoten Islands, it was spectacular, I have to say. But scenery-wise, probably no more spectacular than we've seen in the rest of Norway.
No. But man, was it crowded.
It was
It
heaving.
was so busy. Everywhere you went, there were people, there were camper vans, there were cars. It was ridiculous.
It was. We had hoped to park in one of the car parks to do some videoing and other bits and pieces. Couldn't get in the car park at
No.
all. So we didn't bother with that. But
So what we did, we started to get up at 5 in the morning. So we got up at 5 on 3 consecutive days, didn't
Yeah,
we?
we did.
Because we decided that if we got up at 5, we would then try and find a park up about 2 or 3 in the afternoon, and go to bed early and get up early the next day. And that actually worked quite well, didn't it?
it worked very well. It worked
I would
exceptionally
definitely
well.
recommend that if you're coming in June to the Lofotens.
And the joy is it's like 24 hours a day this time of year. So
it
it
doesn't
worked
really matter.
perfectly.
Yeah.
But no, as we say, Lofton's very, very scenic, very good. As I said to Jill, it's one of those places that actually probably more scenic because of the man-made stuff rather than the scenery. As I say, scenery is excellent, but it's similar to the rest of Norway. But it had a lot of very good man-made stuff. So some of the little villages,
The cod drying on the racks.
yeah. So
Yeah.
the bright red houses on stilts in the villages, all the fishing bits and pieces was spectacular. But as we say, very, very busy. But
Yeah, it
would
was.
you go again?
I would go again. But as I said to Rog, ideally, if you were flying in, I'd go a month earlier.
Yes.
Because actually, I think June, beginning of June is just too busy a time. I'd go beginning of May when things are starting to open up, and it will be a lot quieter then, I'm sure. But obviously, we had to drive through Norway, so we couldn't really do that.
No. No. But no, it's lovely.
It was fantastic. I would definitely recommend it.